All right. So do you remember the first time that we spoke? That we ever had any conversation over text, over call?
Oh, was it? Okay, no. I think was when I saw a video that you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, whoa, who is this person? I was like, no, I need to, I said, I messaged her. I was like, damn, you're so good, though. You're so wonderful. Like, obviously, me, I like to give people their credit. And then I was like, I don't know if you see yourself, but I see you. And I was like, yeah, I know, I see your potential. Oh, please don't stop because these videos are good. And I think I said I even had a camera or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you can use my camera whenever you want. I have lights, I have camera. I'm not using anything. I basically just gave you my whole equipment. I think that was the first time. Was it?
Yeah. I think so. What happened that period? I remember that I had done video for church on my phone, and normally I meant to send the video to because we're both in the same department in
Oh, yeah.
church. Normally, I didn't know I was meant to send the video first to our leader to watch before she then puts on the group.
Yeah.
Another time we see a lot on the group. I just sent the video straight to the group because I was like excited. I was like, okay, I did the video for church. Let me just send it to our studio's group chat. And
Yeah.
I sent it there. Everybody was like hyped about it, like, oh, what's going on? Then when he texted me privately, and you know, I remember that we always had a lot of conversations around building something like this. At that time, I've not even started anything. I was just still making videos with phone. I've not yet taken it professionally. But I remember that we always had conversation around it to the point that I think you were actually my first proper client.
Oh, it was
Actually,
cute.
I think you're the first person that I think that when we did the podcast
Oh,
that
yeah,
same
yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I remember we had a conversation one time. I was in the car, and that's when you were talking to me about building, starting my own media company. Because I knew I told you about, oh, I understood social media, I understood all this time. You're like, oh, why don't you build a company? And last time you told me about how you went to law school and came back, and you talked about your how you went to a job and I think did a job for like a week or something and pulled out.
I don't have patience.
So
Right now, I'm trying to be on my steez.
so so like, but one thing that I always appreciated was at the time you were among the very few people that had not yet seen, and that's something that I knew I should tell a lot of my friends at the time, is that you're among the very few people that had not yet seen me do great work yet, but you already saw the potential even before I did. So we always had a lot of conversations. I always told you about the plenty ideas I had even before I eventually got my own camera and finally eventually started my own company at the time. So it was always very. I know that time we could bounce. We'll talk and we'll probably send like 10 minutes voice notes, 15 minutes voice notes,
20.
20 minutes voice notes, talking about bouncing off different ideas. So when you reached out and talked about us partnering together to build this company that we have now, I didn't. It wasn't something I had to think too much about because actually someone had reached out to me before to do a partnership with them, and there were a lot of thoughts, and the thoughts were even more on, are we going to actually really work? So it was a thing for me where once you called me and talked about it, I didn't even have to think too much about it. I think right there on the call, I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. What are we going to do next? And every time I started
Yeah.
working towards it. Because I mean, seeing someone that had always believed in what I did, and you were my first client, and at the same time, over the years, we've always discussed about different. And it was when we had the first conversation was 2022. So like, seeing that 2024, we're coming together now to build this. I'm like, oh, it's a very good, it's a very solid partnership. But we're going to also ask, like, apart from the angle of just the skill of
Yeah.
being a creative, what else made you like decide or think of me first when you even? 'Cause I mean, not like when I made a conversation and I brought it up. You actually called me on the phone.
Oh, yeah, actually, I did call you. I think I was, because when I started to think about the fact that, I mean, we're both creatives and we're very smart people. We are very smart people. And, when it even comes to business, like brainstorming, we actually come up with the best ideas. And most of the times we think the same way in the sense that in how we process things, how we think, we almost like complete each other's thoughts in a way. And I thought, who else would I want to do like a media business with or a media partner with? Also knowing that I also wanted to work with someone who was also grounded in faith in terms of the ideas that I wanted to push out, and someone that will actually understand and not try to conform to the fact that, oh no, this one is too this, is too that, and we have the same idea. So I think that was it for me. I didn't have to think too much about it because I already knew that when it came to life, the way we thought it was very similar. When it came to, even when people are having certain conversations, we're just like rolling our eyes like, how are you thinking that way? It's almost like our IQ is like, I'm not trying to brag, but it's quite higher. So I just thought it would be great to, do something. And obviously your work is amazing, which is what I've always supported. And I already saw ahead of what that would look like. But I think it's even great that 2 years after, we're actually doing this together. Like, I didn't see that happen. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah.
It was more like, I started to see that we need to do more storytelling. Media in this year is important. I started to see businesses that were not doing good because they didn't have good stories. And I'm very passionate about businesses. I started to see like how storytelling was influencing everything that we did, even down to how people acted, the culture, the food that we ate, how we dressed. And I was just like, why am I letting other people tell the stories that are not meaningful? Like, do I actually want my children to grow up to certain stories that will shape their culture and their reality? Why don't I start telling those stories that I know that, okay, I'm coming with good positive energy. I'm coming with my head on my shoulder. Let's create those stories that people would learn from. It would inspire them, that would create new cultures. I think for me, and when I thought about who it was going to be, I didn't have to think twice. I remember you asking me why me. I was like, why? Who else was it going to be? So yeah.
For me, like when you reached out, the reason why I didn't even think too much about it is because so for me, I would prefer to just be a creative. I don't really like the business side of it. I mean, even the reason why I started doing this was because I wanted to tell my own story. I wanted to share my own ideas.
Yeah.
And something that was a big deal for me this year was, can I find the clients that will put me in a position to be getting money monthly that can use to like take care of myself and pursue my ideas. But it was something I was always looking for. I couldn't find a lot of the clients that I kind of reached out to and spoke with. They said they can't afford, or they didn't even understand. But because I knew that business side was something that was lacking for me. I mean on the business, I know like I don't understand business. I mean, I know business very well, but just the idea of having to go and reaching out to people, having conversations.
Like people.
Like I just want to be on the back end, come up with all the ideas that would help this person and do them, and let them not have to stress about money. And I mean, frankly, like money was something that was hard for me too. Like there are things like I knew the worth of what I was doing, but it was hard for me to just throw the amount there, because either I was scared that the clients would leave because I needed the money, or is that if I now call a huge amount, I have to now do a lot more things to justify the amount. So I remember when we had the conversation, and I'm like, oh, like she's very good in the business side. She's very bold to call this amount of money. I mean, she has done businesses that involve more money than what I've seen. So I believe that she'll be the best person to handle, especially on that business side. So I felt like on the business side, you have a higher advantage. On the creative side, I probably have an higher advantage, and we just complement each other that way. So the thing where, in a matter to understand business, you know it better, and you can also manage people too, and organizational stuff and things like that. So I just felt, oh, it's a perfect partnership. Like I didn't have to think too much. I think the only thing that just bothered me was having to now handling things myself, making decisions myself, to now having to partner with someone. I think that was just the only part that I'm like, okay, I have to now get used to now working with a partner. So meaning that I can't make all decisions myself. Even if I have my ideas, there will most likely be someone else that will be like, yeah, I like this idea, but I think we should add this, And even though I might not necessarily want to add that, I have to still agree to it because it's now a partnership. So like, that was just the only thing that was kind of bothering me. And just like you said, I think I'll also just highlight, when you talked about media, I think one thing that a lot of people need to understand is that in this time and age, not just in this time and age, in every time and in every age, the only way to pass any agenda that you want to pass is through media.
Yep.
And not just using media, but using the media that is available at that time. So when it was just publications and newspapers, people would throw off things on their stuff. So when you think about any agenda that you think of in the world, whether it is women being independent, whether it's feminism, whether it's the whole idea of even funny enough, even the LGBTQ, like every agenda that we see, black people being cool for black people to be on TV, everything was all this agenda was moved by media.
Yeah.
And if we want to make any changes for brands first and also make changes individually too, the only way that we can do that inherently is through media.
Yeah.
So even with what we both, the values that we both align with, which is faith, the only way that you can actually put this gospel right now, yeah, you can preach in church, but the honest truth of the matter, a lot of people will not come to church. They will see this content online. And over the years, there's been a lot of content out there that has been created from ignorance of scripture. So that is what Yoki, or that is what we are trying to now do at Yoki, to create this company that, first of all, helps these brands to pass their own agendas that obviously positive. We will not work with anybody that's negative, positive agenda, but to also drive our own agendas. We have honestly, we have 3, 4, 5 ideas already that we have in line that we're ready to actually, once the money just enters, just you might probably not see us doing a lot of client work anymore, and we literally start having to focus on those ideas that we have. But at the end of the day, I don't know, do you have anything to ask me if I end this?
No, I just want to say, money aside, I know that money is important for stuff, but I think for us it's passion. Yeah. We're actually passionate about seeing people succeed, and that's why, for example, you said the first time that I saw you, I saw beyond your potential, even when you started as well. It's the same way, we see our brands as well. We see a brand that is not working, or we see a person or whatever they are, and it's not working. And we're like, we see your potential. We see how this can be fixed. And we see how fixing this for you would have a greater impact for the rest of the world. So it's not just even impacting the business here. It's how does that business now impact other aspects in the world? How does that impact even the nation, the country, Africa as a whole, the rest of the world? How does that business then create new cultures, actually spread its tentacles to help different people? Because it takes a whole village to make something work. Yeah. So if you're putting, for example, a brand into picture, looking at the different people, you're employing those people, you're giving them a voice, you're adding stories and you're creating stories about them. Some of them might even become in a better position just because we said yes. Some of them might even blow. With the storytelling that we're doing, with them, some of them might even decide that I want to do this, We also want to create that impact. And we're going to we can't change the world immediately, but we can impact the people and then help them to then impact the world, even when we're not there. So,
and one more thing that I would just add, I think I just look at the camera to face and see this one, is that we didn't build Yoki to create simple or basic stuff. Every single content we're going to be creating for every brand or even individual or even our own original content is going to be out of the ordinary. And that is one thing that we're going to do for every brand that we work with, whether you are selling toilets or you are a sheet packer, or you are a Fortune 500 company. The kinds of content that the kind of ideas we're going to bring to the table are not just ideas that are out of the box, but every idea is going to drive impact in one way or other. That's something that we genuinely believe in. Any brand that you think of today that has lasted over the years, check it. Through their content, they've done stuff that inspired people, from Nike to Adidas to Puma to any other brand that is popular. Go and check their content. Even Apple, they create content that speaks to their audience on a personal level. It's not just about promoting the product. It's about telling stories that resonates with your audience in order for them to feel like, oh, these people think about us more than just selling their products to us. So if you are watching this video and you are a brand or an individual, understand that when you're coming to meet us, we're not going to do simple stuff for you. Yeah. We are going to do everything we can to come up with the best ideas that your competitors are probably not doing, because frankly speaking, the kind of stuff we're talking about is not cheap. Let's not lie. It is not cheap. So,
but we'll try and work with the budget.
We'll try and work with your budget, but it's not cheap. But at the same time, a lot of them don't even find it important too, because some of them have the money too, but they probably spend the money doing TV adverts, or maybe carrying 100 million to do one commercial to put on TV that, there's really no proper backing to explain why this commercial was done or who is even speaking to. But what we do is that we will help you come up with crazy stories that connect with your audience and will inherently help you drive impact.
Well said. So
That's it.
that's the answer. No. Wait, before you stop, you should say Iyoki.
No,
We are going to do it.
No, I beg.
Say,
No, I beg. When another place that says drive impact, you just put logo and I beg. I know they do.